Bad Larry.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Bad Larry Kingdom. I'm your host, Bad Larry. Today we are checking out the very first appearance of the Molten Man from the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 28, dated September 1965. This cover represents the first time the Spider-Man cover has been predominantly black color, which must have been super expensive at the time to release. Black being the most expensive color to use in print like this. Also, you saw correctly, this issue will be Peter Parker's last day in high school. But where's he going to go? Let's find out. This issue is written by Stan Lee, drawn by Steve Ditko, and is titled The Menace of the Molten Man. Looks like another lab experiment gone wrong. Like you do. One thing I noticed with this issue is the way Steve Ditko drew hands abnormally large on almost everyone this issue. Be on the lookout for it. They really stand out, or hand out. Anyway, last issue, Peter took full responsibility for a fight with Flash and his boys, but Flash manned up and confessed his part, so the principal tells Peter, "Don't worry about it, it's a water under the bridge." Somehow Stan Lee or the editors allowed this major slip up on this panel, with Peter calling the girl Liz Hilton when her name is really Liz Allen. This is kind of tough though. Liz is really giving Peter the cold shoulder the last few issues after breaking up the fight between him and Flash. Flash is going to be rude to Peter regardless. That's just who Flash is. Even if Peter is trying to be nice to him, he's like a rabid Doberman pinscher. You just can't pet him no matter what. So it's the last day of school. The seniors are let out early to get ready for graduation ceremony, but Peter has one thing on his mind: reclaiming his lost suit from the inventor, Professor Smythe, or Dr. Smythe, or Labman Smythe, whatever you want to call him. Well, Liz is also giving Flash the cold shoulder, so there's at least some balance in the world after all. Peter has that knockoff janky Halloween Spider-Man suit in the box he's carrying. Think of doing the old switcheroo at Smythe's place. Peter feeds into the ego of Smythe. "Oh, the robot you made is so cool. I just want to see it again. You're so smart to make this robot, sir." And then Smythe lets him in the lab. "I'm sure everything's going to go just fine, right?" Nope. The robot is designed to attack anything with spider DNA, hence this attack on Peter. The smart scientist is like, "Well, are you Spider-Man?" Oh boy, turns the robot off only to see Peter's holding a giant jar of spiders. Clever ploy, Peter Parker. But check out those monster hands. Peter tells Smythe, "Hey, look over there," and does the old switcheroo to reclaim his actual good costume. Finally. Now he just has to get out of here and get back to school. Stan Lee doesn't faff about. He jumps right to it. This guy in the green suit and the blue tie comes out of nowhere, because that's how Stan Lee likes to do it, and creates all this tension. He only goes by the one name, Raxton, and decides it's time he takes this giant-ass jar of science juice. Well, he's the business partner to the scientist Smythe, but you can't just decide, "Hey, time's up," and you're going to just take the product to get your money back. That's not how business works. That's thuggery. Smythe says, "No, it's not safe." And Raxton gives him the old right cross for his trouble. Of course. Smythe falls into the button machine, hits all the buttons like you do, and activates everything. No safety protocols were followed this day. Peter Parker tries to intervene, not because he's a superhero, it's just what any man worth his scruples would do, just try and keep the peace. But the damn robot gets Peter locked up, well, because of course it does. Raxton does Peter a favor, though, by knocking out Smythe, keeping Peter's secret identity safe. But does the old slippery oopsie doopsie droppity butterfinger type stuff drops all the science juice all over himself. Another science fail that creates some freakazoid. Peter can't escape this robot because he's been watching Raxton turn into a solid gold man. Raxton, of course, is freaking out. He's now covered in the experimental science juice, now turned into a solid gold man. He thinks going to a regular ass doctor is going to do anything. Smythe is the only smart guy that could do anything about it. He's the only one who knows what this metal science juice is. And you just knocked him out. Peter is able to use his web shooter to the stupid robot on and off switch, and stupid Smythe tells Peter he needs to stop Raxton. How, bro? Smythe got knocked out by Raxton when he was just a regular dude, and now he's infused with the special science juice. Smythe can't do anything. He's trash. Smythe gives Peter Raxton address. It's a wonky series of events. Why not immediately call the cops? They have phones, telephones. Even if you're groggy, Smythe would have just called the cops, not leave it all up to some high school kid. And then some random road rage turns Raxton into a villain. He quickly realizes his strength and immediately turns evil. This is to show how good Peter Parker really is. Most of the people who have been enhanced from all these science experiment fails that Peter has currently fought were just regular dudes who got powers and then decided to use them for evil. Peter is rare because he also got powers from a science failure, but chose to use his powers for good. All these crazy science turned villains are there to show how much of a hero Peter Parker really is. The nature of people is to use power for their own nefarious desires, not to help others. This issue was released in 1965, and I think this character was the basis for the X-Men's Colossus, a man totally covered in metal that's impervious and super strong. With the same haircut, who could that be? Colossus is just silver and Russian and taller, and he got his powers from being a mutant, but it's essentially the same guy, same haircut even. At least this guy Raxton chooses his own name, the Molten Man. A lot of times the news comes up with their villain name and they just gotta stick with it. This is the first time we see Spider-Man back in his regular costume, and he sees the carnage that's being left behind by the Molten Man. Broad daylight? Your skin is shiny as hell metal, man. A hat isn't gonna totally conceal your shiny ass. The Molten Man knows his pad is compromised, so he tries to pack up and find a new place before the cops show up. But here's my thing. What can the cops really do to him? Maybe he isn't sure he's bulletproof, so he just is being cautious just in case. But Spider-Man shows up because Smythe gave Peter the address. Now it's time to rumble, see what this shiny man can do. But the Molten Man is slow as shit. Look at those monster-sized hands. The backwards punch is awkward as hell, too. How do you even try that punch? Spider-Man totally disrespects this guy, grabbing him by the arm like he's gonna go willingly to the police station. Nah, we're gonna keep fighting, bro. But this actually makes sense. Spider-Man's trying to flip old boy over, but his metalness keeps him from moving, ripping his clothes off. This is okay with me. Stan obviously wanted to show off his goldy body like he's the Hulk out here, and I'm okay with having Molten Man gets his shirt and pants ripped up during the fight with Spider-Man. It makes sense. Was Raxton really this ripped before the science juice fell on him, or did it juice him up? This punch knocking Molten Man off his feet is something else. The dude is covered in metal juice, and one punch did this to him. Spider-Man has such underrated strength. And then a super uppercut. But again, the metalness keeps Molten Man protected, just like a hard candy shell, like the Thing or Colossus. The force of the punch can move him, but not hurt him. Spider Man's webs naturally just drip off this guy because he's a slippery dippery like a smooth bar of gold. How is Spider Man going to make any headway battling this guy? The Molten Man has leaned all the way into the hero villain game. Spider Man has a costume and a look. Now he wants a look too, but he's just copying the Hulk's look, not original, bro. A tumble down the stairs isn't doing anything to either fighter, just changing location. Spider-Man seems to be having a general good time fighting with the Molten Man. It's more like sparring for fun than a real dangerous fight. The Molten Man seems to be getting denser or stronger as the fight goes on. Just like when metal that hardens after it comes out of the fire and goes through the cooling down process. The Molten Man seems to be getting stronger, harder, no diddy. Spider-Man punches are the same strength, but Molten Man feels them less and less. But what is this move, okay? A punch and kick at the same time? I actually tried doing this in real life. You can't do it. Same arm, same leg, you just can't get any power behind it. It has no effect. They battle, and now they're in the basement. Molten Man's not tiring and gaining more confidence with every minute. Spider-Man needs to wrap this up soon. And Spider-Man is also a smart cookie. He knows with the Molten Man's shiny ass and the Spidey sense, he gains the advantage in the dark. So this light has got to go. And this connects the cover art to the scene. Spider-Man now has all the advantage as Molten Man is now virtually blind. Spider-Man's plan is to hog-tie this freakazoid like a cowboy wrangling a loose calf. It's a smart tactic using the hard webs with a noose-like tie that handcuffs this guy up. Molten Man is squirming like a feral pig though. And Molten Man uses his super strength to toss Spider-Man around like a doll, not knowing that Spider-Man has the ability to take mass damage. It's like a rodeo show for Spider-Man. Just hang on, keep working on hog tying this freak. Spider-Man repays Molten Man when he tripped him with one of his own trips. And now old boy's hands are hog-tied to his feet. Time to hand him over to the cops. Easy peasy fight in general for Spider-Man. And there are only two cops. I still think the Molten Man could squirm out of them as they try and move him into the paddy wagon. But regardless, Spider-Man did his job. It's time to bounce. He still has to attend his own graduation. There's no time to waste in the life of Peter Parker. Before we continue, I have to address the total misappropriation of this character, Molten Man, in the Spider-Man Far From Home movie. They made this character this gigantic lava monster with no human form, more like dripping lava, and he's too humongous, which, as you can see from this comic, this was never the intention or form of this character. I understand Hollywood wants to sensationalize and exaggerate the characters and stories to make them seem more interesting, but this is just taking it too far in my opinion. What do y'all think? And the rest of this issue sees Peter Parker graduate from high school. Flash gets an athletic scholarship to Empire State University, and Peter will join him through an academic scholarship. So Peter's broke ass gets to go to college for free, but he still has to deal with Flash. Jameson is out here being a cheeseball, knowing that he still needs Peter Parker to deliver those exclusive pictures to him on the daily. What is kind of sad though, well for me, is this deal with Liz Allen. Forget Betty Brant. She didn't even show up to the graduation, so F her. But Liz professed her long love for Peter on the day they're going to basically go on their forever separate ways. There's a lesson here. Shoot your shot before it's too late. Let the people you care about know your feelings or risk losing them forever. So after 28 issues, I think this is the end of Liz being in the run. But that's also the way it is in real life. Of those of you who are still watching, how many of you still do anyone from your high school days? I'm going to say probably zero. Zero of you still have high school friends to this day. It's just the way the world works, and it's well represented here in this issue. And stay tuned for the next issue where we see the second appearance of the Scorpion. And from first glance, this cover art looks much better than this issue. Hit the subscribe button, like the video, and I'll see you real soon. Peace.